This is part 2 of chapter number 5, Magnetism and Matter of class 12. In the previous part, in part 1, we have studied about magnetic dipole. Okay, a bar magnet acts like a magnetic dipole. Also, a current carrying loop acts like a magnetic dipole. A bar magnet or any compass needle, when it is placed in uniform magnetic field, it experiences a torque. And we have also studied the expression of the potential energy stored in that dipole. Now in this part we'll study about Earth's magnetism. The Earth's magnetic field is a huge magnetic dipole whose axis does not coincide with the axis of rotation of the Earth. The axis of rotation of the Earth, we call it as the geographic axis, okay, which is an imaginary line joining the geographic north and the geographic south. The magnetic axis is slightly tilted by 11.3 degrees with respect to the axis of the Earth. The strength of the Earth's magnetic field is of the order of 10 raised to the power minus 5 Tesla. At Delhi, the Earth's magnetic field is 3.5 into 10 raised to the power minus 5 Tesla. As the north pole of a freely suspended magnet points approximately towards geographic north, so the magnetic pole pointing geographic north is the south magnetic pole of the Earth. Whenever we suspend any magnet freely, the pole which is pointing towards geographic north, we call it as the north pole of the magnet. And we know that unlike poles attract each other. So the south pole of the Earth's magnetic field is in the northern hemisphere, whereas the north pole of the Earth's magnet is in the southern hemisphere. And the geographic axis is not coinciding with the magnetic axis. It is slightly tilted, nearly 11.3 degrees. Similarly, the magnetic pole pointing geographic south is the north magnetic pole of the Earth. As you can see in this figure, this imaginary line which is joining the geographic north to the geographic south, we call it as the geographic axis. And the magnetic south pole is in the northern hemisphere. This is also called as the north-seeking pole. This imaginary line which is joining the magnetic south pole and the magnetic north pole of the Earth, we call it as the magnetic axis. Perpendicular to the geographic axis is the geographic equator, and perpendicular to the magnetic axis is the magnetic equator. So the magnetic axis is the line joining the north and south poles of a freely suspended magnet. We call it as the magnetic axis, or it can also be defined as an imaginary line joining the magnetic poles of the Earth. We call it as the magnetic axis. So any freely suspended magnet, it is pointing towards north and south. So this line joining the north and south poles of the suspended magnet, we call it as the magnetic axis, or this imaginary line which is joining the magnetic south and the north poles of the Earth, we call it as the magnetic axis. Whereas the geographic axis is the axis about which the Earth rotates, or an imaginary line joining the geographic poles of the Earth. So these are the geographic poles of the Earth. This imaginary line which is joining the geographic poles, we call it as the geographic axis, or it can be defined as the axis about which the Earth rotates. Magnetic meridian. A vertical plane passing through north-south line of a freely suspended magnet is called as the magnetic meridian. So a vertical plane which is passing through the magnetic axis, we call it as the magnetic meridian. Whereas geographic meridian is a vertical plane passing through the geographical axis. So if we draw a vertical plane passing through the geographic axis, that is called as the geographic meridian. Now we'll study about magnetic elements. Magnetic elements of Earth at a place are the physical quantities which describe completely the magnitude and the direction of the magnetic field of the Earth at any place. So these three physical quantities which completely describe the Earth's magnetic field at a place. And the three magnetic elements are magnetic declination, which we denoted by theta, magnetic inclination, which is also called as angle of dip, denoted by delta, and the horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field, be denoted by H, or it may also be denoted by BH. So these three physical quantities completely describe the Earth's magnetic field at any place. So these are called as the magnetic elements. So the magnetic elements are magnetic declination, angle of dip, and the horizontal component. Let's study about these elements. The first element is magnetic declination. It is the angle between the magnetic axis and the geographic axis at any place on the Earth. And it is represented by theta. Or it can also be defined as it is the angle between the magnetic meridian and the geographic meridian. From the figure, let A, B dash, C dash D is the geographic meridian. That is, it is the vertical plane passing through the geographic axis. Whereas A, B, C, D is the magnetic meridian. That is, it is the vertical plane passing through the magnetic axis. Now, the angle formed between the geographic meridian and the magnetic meridian, which is angle theta. This angle theta is called as the magnetic declination. So it is the angle between the geographic meridian and the magnetic meridian. Now the second element is magnetic dip or magnetic inclination. It is also called as the angle of dip. It is defined as the angle between the direction of the total strength of the Earth's magnetic field and the horizontal line in the magnetic meridian. Now let's see in the figure. AK is representing the total Earth's magnetic field at any place on the Earth, okay, which will be obviously in magnetic meridian. So AK is representing the total strength of the Earth's magnetic field at any place. And if we draw one horizontal line in the magnetic meridian, that will be AB. So the angle formed between the total strength of the Earth's magnetic field and the horizontal line in the magnetic meridian, this angle delta, we call it as the angle of dip. So angle of dip is the angle between the total strength of the Earth's magnetic field and the horizontal line in the magnetic meridian. So this angle delta is called as the angle of dip, and it can be measured by an instrument called as the dip circle. Now the third element is horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field. The component of the total intensity of the Earth's magnetic field in the horizontal direction. In magnetic meridian, we call it as the horizontal component. So here R is the resultant Earth's magnetic field or the total Earth's magnetic field at any place on the Earth. So this R can be resolved in two components. H is along the horizontal and V is along vertical. So this H is called as the horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field. So the total Earth's magnetic field can be resolved in two components. This horizontal component, we call it as the horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field. Now from the figure, you can see that H is the horizontal component, which can be written as R cos delta, whereas the vertical component can be written as R sin delta. Now squaring and adding these two equations, we get H square plus V square is the left hand side, whereas on the right hand side, R square cos square delta plus R square sin square delta. And we know that cos square delta plus sin square delta is 1. So H square plus V square is equal to R square, or the resultant Earth's magnetic field at any point, at any place is equal to under root H square plus V square. Dividing these two equations, that is 2 upon 1, we get R sin delta upon R cos delta. Tan delta is equal to V upon H. So tan delta is equal to V by H, and the Earth's magnetic field at any place is equal to under root H square plus V square. Now here, the resultant Earth's magnetic field can also be written as B, whereas the horizontal component is can also be written as BH, and the vertical component can also be written as BV, because in some of the books it is represented by these terms. So in that case, the total Earth's magnetic field at any place will be equal to under root BH square plus BV square. whereas tan delta can be written as BV upon BH. So at poles, angle of dip is equal to 90 degree. Okay, and we know that the vertical component is R sine delta and the horizontal component is R cos delta. So at poles, delta is equal to 90 degree. The angle of dip is 90 degree. So vertical component will be equal to the total Earth's magnetic field at that place. So the horizontal component R cos 90 degree will be equal to 0. So the horizontal component at poles is 0, whereas the total Earth's magnetic field is equal to the vertical component. And a freely suspended magnet at poles will stand vertical. If it is allowed to move only in the horizontal plane, it will point in any direction. Why? Because in the horizontal plane, the horizontal component is 0, so it can point in any direction. Whereas at equator, the angle of dip is equal to 0 degree. So the vertical component is 0, whereas the horizontal component is equal to the total Earth's magnetic field. So H is equal to R at equator, and a freely suspended magnet at equator will stand horizontal. Let's do a question. At a place on the Earth's surface, the horizontal component is equal to vertical component. What is the angle of dip at that place? As the horizontal component we know is equal to R cos delta and the vertical component is equal to R sine delta. So sine delta upon cos delta is equal to 1. That is tan delta is equal to 1. And we know that tan of an angle is equal to 1. It means that angle is equal to 45 degree. So the angle of dip is equal to 45 degree. We'll be discussing more questions after the third part. In the third part, the magnetic materials, that is dia, para and ferromagnetic materials will be discussed. In order to watch that, kindly subscribe to the channel and keep watching. Thank you.